guys, we are back with another video. I'm not gonna lie, I had to hype myself up to record another video because I would watch my last video and slightly cringe when I saw the video quality or the sound quality, and I felt really awkward sitting in front of my phone and like talking in front of it. Like, it felt weird and uncomfortable for me. So today I'm gonna be cooking while I talk, and hopefully it'll be a little bit more conversational, more casual. Yeah. As a creative person, I felt slight shame in posting it because, you know, it wasn't the best thing I've made. And if you're a creative person and, you know, you share your creativity with others, whether it's through like visual arts or dance or singing, like, you know how you can kind of get in your own head about sharing things with others. And even with my last video, I was like done filming and editing it for like a week, and I was just sitting on it because I was like, I can't post this. Like, it's not good. It's not the best thing I made. Like, I can't post this. I cared too much about what other people thought or would think of my video and less about what I thought of it. My Chiron placement is in Capricorn for my astrology girlies. So, you know, I just really people please a lot, and sometimes I put the needs of others and the selfish need to want to achieve and seem perfect and seem like the best above the actual creation itself. I just kind of let shame and internalized pressure stop me from doing what I wanted to do. And so that's going to be the topic of today's video, is shame. So a few months ago, I shared a post on my Instagram, and it was about the All Eyes on Rafa AI generated like Instagram image that was going viral in like May of 2024. My essay was basically outlining about like the dangers of social media activism and of artificial intelligence. I'm realizing that I want to move beyond critique and criticism and complaining, quote unquote, and to start getting to like the deeper root issue of things and also provide actionable items. So at the end of the essay, I kind of like outline how, like, yes, dangerous that social media activism and artificial intelligence is to activist spaces, but also how dangerous shame can be. I'm gonna post a little bit of what I posted on Instagram, maybe somewhere right here. So you can pause, take a second to read it. When I posted this, I got like 3 times the amount of views that I usually get on Instagram. I got almost 1,000 views, which I'm sure to some people might not be a lot, but for me, like, that was a lot. And I had like 50 plus DMs. 90% of the people responding were really agreeing with me and saying that they felt heard and seen, and that I really put into words what they were experiencing and feeling. Essentially, my point is that so many people are also experiencing shame when it comes to activism. It made me realize that shame really is making activist spaces hostile towards people with good intent and who want to help but are unsure how. Shame is paralyzing people from doing anything or acting in the first place because they're scared of saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing or getting canceled or whatever. And I also realized that shame kind of works hand in hand with privilege. People are overwhelming themselves and burning themselves out because of their privilege and because they feel like a duty and a responsibility to make up for it. And then they're going into these activist behaviors, I don't know, like they're doing these things like posting on their story or organizing a protest or doing all this because it's coming from a place of, I'm so privileged from this, so therefore I must act on it and therefore I must do something. Which, yes, but at the same time, shame isn't a healthy way to do that. And at the end of the day, I feel like shame is preventing us from not just getting done, but like keeping I probably shouldn't curse. Keeping us from continuing to do stuff as well, because shame is an unsustainable emotion. When we're moving off of shame, it's not going to be sustainable because it's a low vibrational emotion. Like, ain't nobody want to feel shame. And it makes me think of, I shouldn't be waving this knife around. And it makes me think of this really amazing user on Instagram. Their username is pat.radical.therapist. And I'm just gonna say word for word what Pat said because I don't want to mistranslate anything, and I just feel like the way they said it was just so beautifully well put. The reality is, liberation is not about who can out-theorize the next person. It's not about who has the cleanest politics, who can weaponize language the best, or who can cancel someone the quickest. Liberation is about the messy, gut-wrenching, deeply uncomfortable work of showing up even when it's complicated. We don't need more spectators, theorists, or social media arbiters of morality. We need people doing the work. Organizing, building, redistributing resources, holding each other with rigor and care. I am trying, I am failing, I am repairing, I am learning, and I am not done fighting. Stay sharp, stay critical, but don't lose sight of the fight. But yeah, this makes me think of a recent conversation with a friend of mine, and she's white and Dutch, and we were talking about racial discourse, but specifically when white people ask black people to educate them on like race and race-related matters. And my perspective going into this conversation was, us black people don't owe white people shit. Like, we don't owe them anything. Not only are you asking us to educate you on something that we have to live, but like you benefit from it too. And you know, you also run with people who have that white denial or white innocence or the alligator tears or the guilt, and you just don't want to deal with all that. But my friend's point was that a lot of white people kind of feel afraid to ask the dumb, stupid, embarrassing questions because of shame. But at the same time, some of them, not all of them, but some of them do want to educate themselves and do want to become better. But you know, if we shame them for asking the dumb questions, then we are possibly driving away allies that, you know, we could use. I'm not saying that all black people should be educating white people, because that's a lot and that's a burden that I know a lot of us don't want to carry, but some of us can carry, but a lot of us don't want to carry. But you know, there's a difference between not wanting to answer the question and shaming people for asking the question in the first place. I am saying that we have to stop shaming people for trying and dividing the collective to reinforce our own moral superiority. And I'd even argue that this doesn't just go for racial related matters, but for gender, for sexuality, for any other paradigm of oppression where, you know, there's the oppressor and the oppressed and the privileged and the underprivileged, and sometimes the privileged want to help and they want to do better, but they don't really know how because the world was built in a way to keep the privileged ignorant of their privilege. And I do want to note that this is specifically only for well-intentioned people. If you're talking to someone and there's like an emotional disconnect and what you're saying is going in one ear and out the other, and they're hitting you with the, oh, but I didn't know, but oh, how do I put it? Like, you know, like, trust your gut. Like, you know those type of people, when you're trying to talk to them about stuff, they don't give a two shits. Don't waste your time. I don't waste my time because I know it's gonna go in one ear and out the other. But for those that do recognize their privilege and do want to do something with it, you don't have to be the one to educate, but also don't shame them for wanting to be better. So the one side of this is, you know, like shaming other people, but the other side is being the one who is experiencing the shame. At this point, I'm kind of speaking from personal perspective because this was something that I had to like work through myself. And you know, sometimes when you experience shame, it kind of stops you or overwhelms you or like scares you from doing anything at all or starting anywhere because like you're too afraid to mess up or to say the wrong thing or to get canceled or to harm someone. And those are all very valid concerns and should be kept in mind, but don't let that run your mind. So for those that experience that paralyzing shame, honestly, if you have nothing that you take away from this video, it will literally be this part. You need to be nicer to yourself. Like, you need to be kinder to yourself. Because how can you demand kindness from other people, from the government, from these systems, from society, from the world? How can you demand kindness from them if you won't even give it to yourself? As the great Lauryn Hill once said, how you gonna win if you ain't right with... I can't take myself seriously. How you gonna win if you ain't right within? Like, she ain't with that. But know that this is not about you. Like, don't internalize it. Shame is such a isolating feeling. And most of the times, like, the reason why you said something wrong or did something wrong is because the world is set up that way. The world is set up to keep you ignorant. It scattered, burned, devalued, banned resources, so many resources that are out there that are trying to help us, that are trying to educate us. So don't blame yourself if you're not educated, and get the up and go educate yourself. Stop taking it so personally. And you know, it's a balance. Don't entirely blame the system for your ignorance because, you know, some part of it is you, but also don't just blame yourself because some part of it is the way the system is set up. But you know, just take accountability. Like, if you said something wrong, if you did something cancelable or posted something on your story that was misinformation or wrong, and someone calls you out on it, don't just sit there and be like, oh, like, I'm never gonna post again because what if I harm other people? Like, no, you're making it about yourself. You're being selfish. Learn from it, take accountability, get up, move on, and do what you need to do going forward. I don't know, maybe I'm being too mean in this video, but some of y'all need to hear this. Notice how when you do mess up and you do the wrong thing and you fuck up, like, notice how that's keeping you from continuing to engage because now you're scared that you're gonna do something wrong. And what's crazy is that the shame from being privileged is literally preventing you from dismantling the very thing that gives you that privilege. So at the end of the day, you're still gonna have your privilege, only now you're ashamed and not doing anything about it. Your privilege benefits from your inaction. So I'm not gonna sit here and feel bad about my privilege if I have the financial privilege to buy a meal for the unhoused man on the street, or if I'm a man, if I could walk home my non-male friends, like to make sure they get home late at night, or if I am white, to talk to other white people and call them out on their racist because I have that white privilege. Because I know that something that may seem like a slight inconvenience to me is literally nothing compared to those who are marginalized because of my privilege. So I'm going to treat the people of the world with the same love and kindness that I demand from it. I'm going to treat myself with the same love and kindness that I demand of the world. And yes, we're not gonna self-care our way into revolution, into liberation. Like, I understand that. But at the same time, this world was not built in a way that values or allows self-care or being kind and patient with yourself and others. People keep saying it's not a marathon. No, people keep saying that it's a marathon, not a sprint. That we should be patient with ourselves and other people as we are all learning and unlearning together. And you'll notice that you're able to show up a lot better when you're moving out of kindness, love, compassion, understanding. But yeah, you'll start to notice that you're able to give more love and kindness to others when you give more love and kindness to yourself. Because you're no longer moving from a place of guilt or shame, of worrying about, oh, what would people think if I don't go to this protest, or if I don't repost this on my story? Like now when you move, it's because you genuinely love and care for yourself and others. And you're not doing it out of fear, out of shame, out of guilt. All low vibrational, unsustainable energies and emotions that we don't need in this revolution. But instead, you're able to move in a way that's more sustainable, Like, you're able to act from a place of passion and love and caring for others and your community and yourself. That'll last a lot longer. That'll keep you from getting burnt out. And you can't stop the cycle of shaming other people when you can't even stop shaming yourself. Love, compassion, understanding, these are all things that oppression does not give a fuck about, oppression does not care about, that it does not value, that it devalues, that it laughs at. So these are the very things that we need to use to take it down, to dismantle it. I'm gonna end the video there. I didn't do a lot of cooking in this video. That's because it's low-key kind of hard to cook and talk. But I'm gonna wrap this up, gonna do some off-camera magic, and I'll get back to you guys.